Hi, welcome to Warrior Commission Now, where we talk about practical ways to live your commission in the Lord. I'm Christine Casten.
And I'm Sharon Rudolph.
Sharon and I are in the middle of a Battleground series. We're not in the middle of a battle with each other,
No.
but we're in the middle. We're in the middle of a series where we're talking about what life is in the battleground, and really this one's about returning to stillness. So in the last one, we talked about kind of what do you do when you recognize that you're in a battleground, and in the intensity of the fight, and what now we're going to talk about, well, how do you return back to stillness in the midst of that? And so this battleground is typically what happens when all the stuff around us is in chaos, and it tends to throw us into chaos as well inside. And
Yes.
there is something about being able to have a spiritual atmosphere within us that can't be imploded by the external pressure. And so this is a way where our internal pressure is going to be even or even push away the external chaos around us. In other words, God's more powerful, and his heavenly
Yes.
spirit will displace anything else around us that's not of him. So let's kind of go into this a little bit more, Sharon. What do you do when you realize, oh my gosh, things are chaotic and I'm getting stirred up and life is crazy? What is your first go-to?
For me now, I
Oh,
know when those things are going on, I have to step back. And oftentimes I will have to step out. For me personally, oftentimes going outside makes a huge difference for me. It's easier for me to quiet my internal self when I'm outside. But
Right.
this has been a process to get to,
Right.
because it's not something that happens naturally. It is choice of will, it's presence of God. And there were times that I'm like, God, I know this. I need to be still. That verse in Psalm 46, be still and know that I am God. I'm not doing the still part. I need some help here.
And then you get yourself all stirred up because you're like,
oh
I've got to be still. I've got to be
right.
still.
But it's wonderful how God shows up in that place. So even when we feel like we can't, he's there to help us because he likes being with us in the stillness. He likes it when we come to him in the stillness. But that for each person is going to be unique. So you might have to try some things, right? What do you need to do? Do you need music? Do you not need music? Do you need other people? Do you not need other people? And be willing to try some things. And not be too hard on yourself as you're learning what is stillness for you, and where is that place, whether it's in the natural or inside of you, where you connect with God, because that's what stillness is. You can sit and not say a word in the quiet and not be still.
Right. Exactly.
It's the place you connect.
And I think one of the things that's important is, like, sometimes even for me, just a physical movement will help me step back into stillness. So let's say I'm in a room with people and there's, stuff going on. There's people are upset or, whatever. Sometimes just literally even just leaning back in my chair and taking a deep breath. It's not an exasperation for the situation. It's truly in some sense, it's just removing myself from the moment, taking a deep breath, and allowing a prayer to go up and say, Lord, align me with your heart in this moment, and just kind of asking those questions. What would you like to be shared in this time? How can I love these people? Because usually the chaos is people, but not always. But how can I love these people in a way where I see them through your eyes? And is there a strategy in this moment for me to step into or speak out or pray in the midst of this situation, and actually see it shift? sometimes it's just you step back and pray, right? And you start seeing the shift. Sometimes there's a question God might give you to ask. Sometimes it's it's a kind comment towards someone, or an encouraging word toward another person, or even saying, what do you guys like about each other, in a situation. So there can be a lot of different ways to approach it. God is creative, and
Yes.
he is so creative that sometimes just taking that moment to step back or step away, and just reset yourself in God's heart, will actually allow that battleground to almost, it's not that it dissolves, but it becomes so much less powerful to overtake you or overwhelm you.
Right.
But Sharon, I think there was something you were talking about, with being overwhelmed. Scientifically,
Yes.
there's a technique that
Yes.
actually supports the Bible, in this, and what we're talking about. Do you want to talk a little bit about, what you discovered with this emotional overwhelm
Yes.
experience?
It's always fascinating with me when science comes up with an idea and it's like it's been in the Bible all along, but
Right.
they come up with oh, this is what you do. So with emotions can be challenging, and really they're a gift from God to help us know when and how to connect with him, because
Hmm.
God has emotions, they're not a surprise. But he doesn't get overwhelmed, but we do.
Hmm.
And actually, the best thing to do with the emotion of overwhelm is to step back, to step out of it, and to not try to make any decisions. Because oftentimes, if there is a battleground or if there is chaos,
Hmm.
we got to find a solution. Let's
Right.
fix this,
And
right?
then we're making an emotional decision, and not necessarily a decision that is in alignment with God's heart.
So when you get yourself still and choose to think about something else, puppies, babies, rainbows, right? Something that your favorite color, your favorite place, you choose to be still, not make a decision, not just let it be there.
Hmm.
Guess what? It dissipates.
Hmm.
Within 15 minutes, that emotion of overwhelm is going to be dissipating.
Hmm.
And then your brain can engage and you can see it from a totally different perspective. So
Right.
that the thing God's trying to show you about it, the thing that's going to bring in his glory, right? You can actually see.
Hmm.
And yet there are times when getting that stillness, or even giving ourselves permission to not have to fix it, that's a piece. Give yourself permission. You don't have to fix it. Um, uh, it's hard to do by ourselves.
Right. And this is the part from part one that we're carrying
Yes,
forward, where we were going to talk about sometimes it takes people,
yes,
or connection with people, to be able, even if the chaos comes from people, sometimes
yeah.
there's a different connection you can make. So I interrupted you a little bit, but just wanted to bring that
No,
forward.
no,
So
yeah,
go for it.
yeah. No, this does tie in to that, because if you know someone who's not in the middle of your circumstance,
Mhm.
they may be able to help you get to a place of stillness or a shift in perspective that you can't get in by yourself.
Mhm.
Sometimes you need a place to say out loud, hey, this is going on and I don't know what to do.
Right.
And I the Bible talks about how two are better than one,
Mhm.
right? And if one is cold, the other can come alongside and help them be warm. And that's internally as well as externally. And
Mhm.
that being in sync with God, he gives us others to help us do that. I just
Yeah.
love how Jesus sent out the disciples two by two, right?
Right. It's not about going it alone or being a maverick.
Right,
There are times when we have to stand. That's part of our training. That's part of
right.
our development. So I don't want to negate that aspect, but God did create us to be in relationship. And I know
Yes,
one of the things that God was talking to me about as I was stepping into um, a deeper connection with Him, and also with a journey that was taking me, to here. There were a lot of things that I was learning about what are good practices, what are good,
Right.
safe, healthy boundaries. What does that look like? So one of the things he talked to me about was the importance of having people that hold you accountable, if you will, in your circle, but also having people outside of that circle. So like
Yeah.
being connected to multiple circles. In other words, your wise counsel isn't all in one place.
Right.
And the value of that is that if I'm having something, a struggle that I'm working through, if I go to someone in the same group of people that is an issue, then it's very easy for that person to take an offense in whatever the situation is.
Right.
And so they're not really a what's the word, a disconnected observer, because
Right.
they have something in that. There's a stake in that, and that's where you start seeing resentment and division, and just things bubbling under the surface within groups, because that's happening. So another option is to have people that you connect to that are outside of what, in different groups, like I said.
Right.
And that way you can go to that person who's completely outside of the situation. They're,
Right.
completely separated from it. And they're going to have a perspective that's going to know your heart, because you've developed that relationship over time. And it
Right.
also gives you a place to kind of talk through and process without them taking offense of, without causing your own
Yes.
problems of stirring stuff up, because you may be fine, but the other person you talk to just took an offense. So anyway, so it's good to have people that are in multiple areas of your life, and it's healthy anyway, because you don't want to be myopic in your scope.
Right.
So anyway, Sharon, do you have any other thoughts about this particular topic of stillness and being still in the battleground?
Um, just give yourself grace and learn to choose to trust that Papa really is that good, that God really is that good. And He doesn't look at us going, "You're not still enough yet."
Yeah, right.
He knows how to meet us where we are. And there may be times when He challenges you to take that deeper, but He knows what you need, and He wants to help you in the battleground so that it is a place of victory. And all you have to do is read the Old Testament, and you see again and again and again the victory comes. And the people in the battle didn't necessarily deserve a victory. The people in the battle didn't necessarily do everything perfect, but He won the victory for them. And He's going to do that for you too. But being willing to train into stillness is such a blessing, because when you have it, it's absolutely phenomenal. And if you want to get to know a group of people who train to stillness and support one another in getting close to God in that place, come check out the Warrior Commission. Our website, thewarriorcommission.com, has great information. You can send in inquiries and find out more about us. We would love to help you walk in stillness and have victory in the battleground.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today.
Bye. You guys have a great one.